with the HVAC business being crazy, it's just hard to get anything done down here, but we'll keep plugging at it. Morning. It's 4th of July weekend. Got here this morning and started cutting some hose out to get ready to put these doors and windows in. I've got to run to Lowe's and get a 2x8. I don't have any here to make a header over this window that we're going to add, but I got the back door opened up here and built a little ramp out of some scrap lumber over my gaping hole down there where I've never backfilled. So I'll be able to jump out here and stick this door in, and then I'll probably go ahead and take a break and run to Lowe's and get a 2x8 so I can make a header like that one there over here. And then I can go ahead, and once I get that hole framed in, cut out, I can put my tie back on that side, stick these two windows in, and be able to get some cross ventilation through this hot box. Finally got to start some fun stuff. Got most of the wood done. Still have a little bit of dead wood and blocking to put in, but I got bored with that. Jumped over to this. Normally you'd want to finish all that so a plumber didn't run a pipe through the top plate and you didn't have your top plate on. But in this case, the plumber and the carpenter's the same guy, so surely he'll remember. What I got over here, this is where we'd stubbed it out before if you watched some of the previous videos, just out of the ground coming from the street. So this 2-inch is just stubbed up here. It's going to go up and it'll have to come all the way down here and pick up the kitchen sink. That'll be right out here in a peninsula. That'll be the only thing down this way that has to have a drain. I've just got it a sewer stunk. I got that stuck in it there, and then put my blow up test plug back in there to try to cut the smell off so it wouldn't be coming out every pipe as we work. But that's a toilet. That's my stack going on up. It's picking up a washing machine and a laundry sink up there, and then it'll go on through the roof and pick up, tying up in the attic to the other vents. This will be a clean out down here where I've got my little test ball right now. This pipe here will be the vent for the toilet. It'll be come over here and it'll be the drain for the the vanity, the sink up there. And of course, because we're using it to wet vent the toilet, we'll continue at 2-inch on up into the attic and tie it into the vent stack. Same kind of deal here. Oh, one more thing we're getting the bathtub off of this. So it's wet venting the bathtub, the toilet, and draining the vanity. And then it'll also be going on up into the attic. So we got a bathtub right there, which will have to come off of here. And then the other bathroom will come out of this one, come over. We're gonna have to pick up a shower drain that'll be about right there. And it'll turn and go down where I've got that pipe stuck through the floor. That's for the other vanity in that bathroom. So that'll pretty much be all the plumbing. All the big 3-inch stuff is done now pretty much, you know, except for extending it on through the roof and tying in a couple of vents. So didn't take a lot of pipe for that. I bought 2 or 3 sticks and I'm probably gonna have some left. I've carried some upstairs. What else? I'll go upstairs and get a shot of that. I'm getting ready to quit. I worked all day and then come by here just to get started on that this evening. So I'm gonna go up and lock everything up and get out of here. I'll get a shot of that washing machine drain when I go up. Okay, this is what we got up top. There's the 2 toilet flanges that we saw from down below. And there's the 3-inch stack that come up between them. It's going to eventually go through the roof. But all we've got is a 2-inch tied in for our washing machine and a 2-inch tied in for a laundry sink. So again, all the hard stuff's done in the afternoon. That's great. So I'm probably going to quit for tonight, but I'll get some more shots of this if I get to work on it tomorrow evening. I've got a busy day tomorrow. I don't know if I'll make it here or not, but it's nice to be doing something besides carpentry for a change. Well, it's the weekend again, and we're back to plumbing. Got that 3-inch vent extended up and through the roof. Just got that 90 stuck in the side of it. That's going to go over and pick up the kitchen sink vent. One night this week, I stuck this dryer vent in. I was able to get the right box for it and got it stubbed in and ran out to the outside of the house. So the dryer vent's done. But what I'm doing right now, and I wanted to show you before I stuck it up under the floor and glued it in, because it'll never be able to sit like this again. This is a kitchen sink drain configuration if you're in a standalone peninsula or an island where you don't have a wall to come out. So basically what's going to happen is this is going to be, what you see down there will be underneath the floor, and then this will be inside the cabinet. And what will happen, you have to have a clean out, so this is the clean out. This will be where your kitchen sink trap goes into. And then of course the water will typically go straight down out here and go out to the waste. Normally you want some vent somewhere in that line, so that line coming out the top will serve as your vent, because it'll come around here, it'll come up right underneath the floor nice and tight to the bottom of the floor, and then turn up here. It has to have a clean out somewhere accessible, which is going to be inside this closet. And then after you get above the flood, the flood rim of everything, you can start going horizontal with your vent again. So I'm just jumping over here into this return bay so I can get up through there without having to drill through my top plates. But what I'm going to do with this, you can see I've got all that glued together down there. I'm not going to glue any of this stuff on top right now. It'll be just pulled off and set aside. I'll put some test caps on this 2-inch and on this 1.5-inch vent so that I can test it, but it'll just be stuck up through the floor until such a time as it's the time to put the cabinets in. Then I'll have to drill 2 holes like this in the base of the cabinet and set it down over those pipes. You notice this vent comes up out of the floor instead of through the wall over here. The reason that is, that center beam is directly under this wall. Well, pretty much directly under it, so I can't drill through it. This corner cabinet is going to be a Lazy Susan. The back of the cabinet comes to here, but because it's a Lazy Susan, they always chop this corner off back here, so there's nothing in that void. So this is not going to be in the way. In fact, I'll have to do a little framing back here to put something on the back of the cabinets where you'll see it over in the room, since there's going to be a little bar up here. So that'll just be back in that dead space in the corner of that Lazy Susan. But that gets me up out of the basement and into the wall here. And again, because this has got that flat drain down, or a flat vent down there under the floor, you have to have a clean out here. Then you have to have a clean out in this vent pipe in case it ever got stopped up and got something in it. So that's what that rig is. I'm going to go ahead and jump down, pull the top off of it, jump down there and stick it up through here and strap it to the joist. I'll hook that vent up, and then I have to hook this vent up. I run out of pipe. I just got back from Lowe's. The 1.5-inch vent for the kitchen will go up like this through that draft blocking I put up there. Goes up that high, and then it's going to go over and tie into that 90 right there. And that'll be all of the waste plumbing up here. We'll just have to tie a few things together in the basement, which it's nice and cool down there. It's getting warmer and warmer up here as we get close to lunchtime. Okay, and here's what she looks like underneath. See, it's the 2 holes we saw up there under the sink. So the waste will normally come down the 2-inch line over and out. Again, that second line is that revent thing, loop vent. I think they call that a foot vent coming off up next to the ceiling. They make you use sweep fittings in that vent in case, since it could have water and waste in it, to make it easy to clean out. But I reckon it'll work. I doubt you'd ever have to clean it out unless you just really ran a lot of stuff down your drains. Well, got the pressure test on her, and right away I heard water dripping on the cardboard I laid under here to work off of. But the good news is it's just a clean out plug. I'm gonna tighten it up and see if it'll stop. That took care of it. So if that's the only leak we got, I'll be tickled to death. Got another leak. Spoke too soon. I'm afraid this little plastic cap's gonna pop off of there. That's one of them little wafer thin things you glue in there just as a temporary test cap. I've got this. I may try to glue it back about a 1/2 inch on there and see if it'll make it stop. Well, it held. Next morning, everything's dry. I checked down in the basement too. We're in good shape. So all this drain plumbing is complete for rough in and pressure tested or water tested. So we're in good shape there. Next thing to think about is this electrical, because it's a pretty good sized conduit. It's got to be run through there, and you don't want a lot of twists and turns in it. The electrical's overhead here. About every house is, so even if you put it underground, you'd still be looking at everybody else's wires, so we're just going to keep it overhead. The electric company says I can put the meter pretty much anywhere I want to, as long as it's right on the other side of this wall right here, which is in the kitchen. I mean, you could put the panel behind the door here. Of course, you'd see it from everywhere in this great room area, but you could put a chalkboard over it or some other thing. But I think what I'm going to do, I picked up the conduit, I'm going to put my meter here where they want it, and then I'll go down the outside of the house and up under the crawl space and run this 2-inch PVC conduit over to a wall here in the laundry room. Of course, we can't put it on this wall because we got that beam directly underneath it. So there's just no way to come up through that wall with a big conduit like that. We're gonna have the dryer and the washer and the countertop over there. So this part right here makes sense. I put me a couple of shims on it. These panels are about 14 1/4. They do that so you can fit in between a 14.5 inch stud bay. So we're going to go ahead and mount this panel up here, and then I'll locate where the center hole comes out and head down and drill through into the bottom plate. What I hope to do, the joist is way out here, that's about where that circle is. So I'm hoping we can go down through the plate, turn this 90-degree sweep at a 45-degree angle and head over toward the outside wall that direction. I think that's gonna work all right. And I can hold it up pretty close to the bottom of the joist all the way through. Eventually, I've got to get down a little bit right over there, because if I went straight out under the joist, I would be both in the mud sill and that top cap block and up in the siding. I just soon come out down in the block so that the siding can be a straight line along the house there. So I bought a 45 and a 90 sweep. I don't think there's room to do it. I don't have any good way of heating this big pipe up and bending it myself. So probably what I'll do is just actually let the thing drop down a little bit as we go along there so that we can pop out just through the cap block. But we'll start on it and see how it works out. Get some video of it when we get it done. That's where we came through. So that should work just fine. I'll just I guess I could measure and find what 45 degrees is, but probably even easier will be to put me up a temporary hanger over there somewhere, stick me a joint of conduit on here, and either put my 45-degree fitting on the end and square it up, or I could even use a little tri-square to get it close enough. But that's what we're going to do for now. I'm just going to put me up a temporary hanger over there, get me a 10-foot joint of conduit run down that way, and start putting it up and figuring out where it goes. I ran and got a meter base. Lowe's only keeps one type in stock, and I just wanted to make sure that we could come in the center top and come out the center bottom, so that I didn't bring my conduit out of the house in a place that would be in the way of being able to run your weather head through the overhang, like be right under a truss or something. So now that I know that, I'll get that hole knocked through and finish up the conduit, at least underneath. I won't do anything further than just get it stubbed out of the house until I put the siding on. And there she is, stubbed out. I stuck just a white PVC coupling with some tape over the end to keep anything from crawling up in it and dying, but we missed the truss that way. That meter base can mount right up here on the house, and we'll have an LB right down there or something you can open up and pull, and then that gives us two 90s and a 45 between here and where it's going. So that's well within the 360 degrees they allow us to have. I nearly killed myself. This root was stuck out of the ground right here on the edge of the ditch. It's been there. You can see it's about that big around since we dug it. But I was using the handicap ramp, or at least coming in this direction, to go down in that ditch to go drill that hole, and I was carrying the hammer drill in the case, and that stupid root went through my shoelace loop, and down I went, buddy. I actually hit my head on the fender of the trailer. It jerked me around so far that old heavy drill dragged me down into the hole and kind of pulled my arm out of socket, but I'm still standing. Took some ibuprofen. Missy took good care of me. Wiped off all the blood. So we come down there. It goes over through here. Of course, this sump pump's just temporary. I'll eventually pipe it out permanent. But the actual conduit misses anything else as far as being in the same place as the plumbing or anything. Goes over that way until it hits a 45, out about 17, 18 inches off of that end wall. And you can see where we go out there. I'll have to put something in that hole. I had to drill through the cap block there, but I'll probably put some better hangers on it too before I start trying to push or pull that big wire through. But we've got all the big stuff down here that has to be down here. The little plumbing, the PEX that I'll run for the fresh water. Of course, it's easy to work with, and I guess probably the next thing I really need to do down here is going to be start on the HVAC, finally. Well, I finished my service calls for today. It's about 937 degrees outside. And then the shower came and got everything wet. Then it quit and everything started steaming. So I came in here to the shop to try to do a little ductwork. Supply house brought me some stuff this morning. But what I was trying to make was I'm going to stand this furnace up down there in that low basement. I thought about hanging it horizontal, but it was just going to be a lot going on. So basically what we're going to have is, this will be the side of your coil sitting on top of your furnace. And this will be the width of the furnace in the coil here. And what I'm going to do is stack this fitting on there, try to radius these edges good so the air will roll both ways when it comes out of the top of that coil. I'm not going to do anything up here. It's actually more air going one way than the other. And I'm just going to let the static pressure take care of that. I mean, there's not going to be any turbulence here to speak of like it would be if you had a 90-degree corner over here. That's what I don't like about regular 90s that you buy. Most of the times these heels are 90 degrees and the outside of them's radius, when in reality it'd be a lot better if it was the other way around, because as the air comes up, you'll fill this corner up with air up here and it'll roll on through. But right here at this hard corner, there's nothing you can do about that. The stuff's just gonna roll around right there, just like on the back of a tractor trailer going down the interstate. So I think this'll work good sitting on top. We'll do it on both sides. I've never done this before, so I didn't start videoing, but I mean, it's together, so I may not have done it right, but I did it. I'm gonna make the next heel over here and show you how I did it. I don't have a lot of metalworking tools. I bought that this year. It's a little Pittsburgh seamer with a flanger on top. Bought that at my supply house where I buy some of my equipment. I got this stomp shear from one of the other HVAC guys here in town. He had bought it at an auction with a bunch of other equipment. It had been sitting out under his carport with a tarp over it for a long time. And I'd asked him about it one time and he said he would sell it to me, but we never had got together on it. So after I got this Pittsburgh machine, I got serious and went down and talked to him one day and brought it home. It's heavy as all get out. The scrap value of it's probably worth what I paid for it. But it's, like I say, it's not new by any means. It actually had pneumatics on it. When I bought it, I took the cylinders off. But for cutting what I cut, this stomp shear works, you know, pretty good. Just put your foot on it and there she goes. I had her out a little too far. She bent over the corner there. But what I'm making now is this other throat or heel here. I'll cut the piece out. This is the actual, this is a 8-inch radius. So if you take 16-inch diameter circle, multiply it by pi, and divide it by 4 to get quarters, that'll give you the length of this arc. And then I add an inch at each end so it can, you know, tie up to my duct or have a little flange to go down on the top of my cooling coil. So this wound up to be 14.5 inches. So that's what I just cut, was the 14.5 inch piece. The width of my duct going in both directions is going to be 16 inches, 8 by 16. I picked that because it happened to match with the furnace and it worked with my airflow. So this will set down on top of the 17.5 inch coil. It'll set down in the flanges. I think the actual dimensions is 15 3/4, but what's a 1/4 inch, right? So then, so I need to make this piece finish out at 16 inches wide. And that Pittsburgh machine will take an inch on either side. So I'll cut the piece 18 inches wide, run it through my Pittsburgh, and it'll wind up being a finish width of 16 inches. Now my Pittsburgh machine, it messes with the first 1.25 inches of your metal when you run it through there. So if you don't want it flanged all the way out to the edge, which I don't, because I need a place here to go up into my slips or go onto my coil, what I do, I back in 1.25 inches and notch back in my inch that I've got here for my slip or my furnace. And then I just take 10 snips and cut out the piece that I don't want any kind of a Pittsburgh seam on. Then I just bring her over to the machine. I don't know if I can do this with one hand. I might try it here. This piece is a little bit curly, but so once we have this piece made, we need to get it to fit in this curve here, and that would be hard to do by just trying to bend it a little bit on a tighter radius like this. You know, if it was a really big outside radius or something, you could probably just start it and bend it over a little bit and keep working it in until you got done. But what you do when you need to bend a piece of metal like this, or at least the way I can do it, is with this little slip roller here. I came across this, of course, used too. A guy I know, his brother had been in the insulating business, used to insulate a lot of pipe, and they would use this to bend covers, metal covers or aluminum covers for the insulation when it was exposed in industrial or commercial environments. So I bought this for a little or nothing, and I don't know much about it. I watched a video on YouTube, but it seems to work pretty good. I'm gonna get this piece sandwiched in there and I'll show you what it does. Okay, I've got it started in the rollers there. If you turn this crank, need to bolt it down. May have to lay the phone down. Maybe taking too big a bite the first time too, because it's a little hard to turn, but bottom line is, you see what's happening. It's creating a curvature in that metal, which will make it easy to, or maybe not easy, but a lot easier to get fit up with that other metal over there and bend it over. Okay, so that went in pretty easy. So what I'll do next, I'll make another side, just like this one here with the two radiuses cut in it. pop it on the other side, and then all will be left will be a square top, which should be easy. So I'll just shear me out a piece. I think it's 17.5 inches tall by 3 foot 2 inches wide. And let me mark it up here. I'll put some scratch marks on it and show you what I'm doing. On video, basically, I'm in 1 inch from the edges, and that's gonna be where my duct comes in. That'll be where I bend over to make my drives or whatever. I've got a little line in 1/4 of an inch from the top up here. That'll be from my lift. That'll go back in the Pittsburgh seam. That'll be on the top piece. And then at the bottom, I've got my 1 inch, which will be the flange that goes on top of the furnace. What I still need to do is locate these radiuses so that I can take it over to the flanger and make those little 1/4 inch flanges on them. And the way I'm going to do that, I marked one out just by measuring it when I did the first piece. So then I cut it out, and I can just use this template to mark the others. And then when I cut them out, I'll just leave the line on my my good piece. So I just marked them both with a Sharpie, and I'm going to cut them out. Flange these radiuses with that little flanger. On the straight edge, you just do it on your brake. And I stuck a couple of cross brakes in it to keep it from flexing and banging when the air comes on. And when you get that piece banged together, that's what it looks like on the inside. This is what I was talking about. I want that smooth airflow to take place. So now I just need a top. Of course, since it's 16 inches finish, I'll be 18 inches wide. And the overall length of this thing on top was 3 foot 2 inches. So if I cut me a piece of metal, 18 by 3.2, run it through the Pittsburgh seamer, it'll be a finished piece. And there's the top. After wrestling those curves into that seam and bending it over, the straight side should be a piece of cake. Okay, she's done. Put S-lock on it, bent the little drive, for the drive cleat, bent it over. What I'll do with this, I'll take it to the house. I'll temporarily hang it under the floor joist in the position that it needs to be back and forth to line up with that return hole I've already got cut through the floor. And then I can take my measurements from this piece to each joist bay that I need to have a takeoff in. And I can build all that duct here in my air-conditioned shop instead of out in this heat. I can probably build it in 12-foot sections. I think this duct's 4 foot. So I could build it in 12-foot sections, wrap it, and haul it over on my trailer and still get it down into the basement, maybe. I'll need to look at that. 12 foot might be too long to get down the stairs, but we can at least do 8, surely. Well, it's a beautiful Saturday morning. Finally, hopefully going to get to work on the house some. Started putting this form up. Since we're going to start HVAC soon, I'm going to have a furnace down in the basement. And probably should secure it a little bit. So what I'm going to do, I think, is pour a little stem wall around through here to give us a little bit of a landing before you start down the stairs, so you don't just open the door and fall down the stairs. I think that might even be code, but you know, it's just a cellar. But that's why I never did anything else with this wall here. I even run a lot of the boards long, because I wasn't sure exactly what would happen here. But got this form up here. That's that existing concrete was there. What we're going to do is just run us some steel rebar around through here. I'll dowel it in, get everything good and tight. So before I put this other side of the form up, I'm going to need to go. I'll get the bigger hammer drill, and I got to get the bigger hammer drill.
I'll get it.
You can't carry that heavy thing.
Last time you did it, remember you tripped over your root and about killed yourself.
Anyway, we're going to get this steel doweled in here, and I'll get a picture of it before we start pouring. Steel dowels cut up, just using a reciprocating saw because I don't have any big bolt cutters. Missy's got me a fan blowing here, so this 95-degree humidity won't be. There she comes with my hammer drill. She can carry it. Okay, got her a little bit of steel put in here, doweled in a place or two. But what I'm going to do now is I'll come in 6 inches and start forming this inside of the wall here. And as soon as I get that formed, I'm going to look at something. You may have noticed my copper laid out here from my footer ground for the panel. I'm seriously thinking about changing all that work I did last weekend on that electrical conduit. Now that I've changed my mind about how I was going to do this, so I'll look at it in a few minutes, and if I'm going to change it, I'll show you what I'm going to do. All right, she's formed up and ready to pour, except I need to decide if I'm going to move my meter. When I got them out here to look at the meter, of course I couldn't put it on that wall back there. That would have been on this, house, because of this overhang. There's a rule about how high the wire has to be over the roof. If you had it all the way back against the house and somebody walked across this little roof, they'd walk into it. So, and I couldn't put it on this wall because getting the conduit from here over to there would have been a problem. So that's why we chose that corner of the house. But now, since I've changed the way this is going to happen here, what's really going to happen is I'm going to get this poured, build this wall, and then my door going into this basement is going to be up here at floor height. Up above this, I'll have a little pony wall underneath my door even. So what I'll do a little platform inside here, like a landing, and then 2 or 3 wooden steps down to where it meets those other steps. So I'll have this void underneath here with nothing in it. So now I can put the meter on the back of the house. It'll actually be on this wall that I haven't built here yet. The conduit will stick through the roof right there, and because it's right there at the edge, there's no way you can really walk around it. My conduit will just basically come down into the top of this wall I'm getting ready to pour, so I'll have to block it out if I'm going to do that. Then go through that cap block over there, just like I did around the corner, and then straight down to where I made that 45 over to the panel. So it'll actually make the conduit less bends and may make the wire just a little shorter. The one thing I wasn't sure when I thought about this last night was, did I have enough of that grounding conductor? But I bought it at Lowe's on a weekend. It's the only thing open, and you had to buy 25 foot. So yeah, I got enough. So things work out sometimes. I'm gonna put the meter around back here. That's about where it used to be on the original house. I think it was right over there on the first house that was here. Comes off that pole back there. So what that'll do, that'll free me up around this corner here. You can see the height of the door going into the house versus ground level out here. I may want to, I want to make this porch pretty much level with the threshold on the door coming out this way, but I can extend it out this way and then have a ramp. It's fairly gentle slope coming down the side of the house. And you won't have anything over here till you get to that window, which is, quite a ways out. So basically what I'll be doing is abandoning that, plugging that hole, and moving the conduit over here. So it's time to pour, but what I need to do is stick something in here wherever I'm going to bring that conduit through, so that I don't have to try to drill it out afterwards. So I'll get that in there, and then we'll start mixing concrete. Okay, getting there. I think we're going to beat the sun getting back here. Looks like it's right behind the cloud right now. But what I wound up doing on this, I got that 2-inch pipe, which is the same as my conduit will be, but it's actually got a 3-inch pipe around it that I put a sleeve in between there at 2 inches, just keeping everything good and straight and in the wall. So that'll be my sleeve for my 2-inch electrical conduit. Of course, I got my copper out here, so it's ready to go. So a few more bags, and this thing will be ready to stick some anchor bolts in. Okay. Stuck a little hole through the block for the conduit, and you can see those, maybe see those 2 deck screws. That's what's holding that 2-inch pipe where it goes over there. So again, the conduit's over there right now. I'll just cut it out and change it to go right down through here. Good morning. We just took the forms off. It looks pretty good. There's our little sleeve we put in for the electrical conduit, and there's that core drill I did yesterday. I just stuck a sleeve in it too. So that's where our conduit will come on through here. And again, this wall here is going to continue out to this corner, and we'll put a door on the end here, which will wind up being level with the door going into the house, so we can have one elevation of porch here. Inside here, we're going to build, I think I'm going to build 2 pressure treated risers and steps to get us up. That'll get us up above the concrete. And then I'll come up and do a platform, which will be up here. and come over. And then the door will be up level with the floor, so it'll be one step down. Once you open the door, you'll have a step down to a platform here, and then you'll start down your stairs to the cellar or basement. So I guess we'll went by the local blue box store this morning and picked up some pressure treated. Good news is it's back in stock finally, and got a few studs there, so that should be enough wood to get this done. And if I can get that done today, that's all I want to do. You can tell it's already hot. Look at the sweat that dripped off of me when I stepped over there. It was a record high here yesterday, and the humidity is just crazy. I think the heat index is around 100, so we'll get to work here while we still got a little bit of shade and see what we can get done. Alrighty, I'm standing on the landing now. I just got this old piece of Hvac laying on here. I haven't screwed it down yet, and I'll show you why in a minute. But basically, you know, you got your landing, you first step down to the pressure treated step, second pressure treated step, and then back down to the original concrete. And there's the door. You can see the door's gonna be just a little bit above the landing. I did that to keep these riser heights the same all the way up. And then the deck level for this porch right here will actually be level with the door threshold. So it'll also be level over there with the house. So that'll make it pretty easy to get down into the basement should you need to go down there. Say the water heater, furnace is gonna be down there. I intentionally kept the breaker panel up here. They make you put those arc faults in now, and I didn't want Mom or anyone to have to run down to the basement to reset a breaker because the vacuum cleaner tripped it. But what I'm gonna do out here, maybe, of course, I've moved my meter already, so I'm gonna have a meter disconnect here. It's gonna have a breaker spaces in it. I might, see if I can get this picked up with one hand. I might run a 3-inch sleeve through this landing, through this 5.5-inch landing. It'll come out right here, which the meter's over here, and I could run my line set through it and set the AC unit right over here to the side, out of the way of the electric meter. But I could actually come out of that meter disconnect with my whip for my AC condenser and kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Plus it would be separated from the house a little bit by this stairwell, so you might not even know it was running out here. But it started to rain. It's clouding up pretty good. Got all the tools in under the overhang. Missy's not under the overhang. She likes the wet. But we probably just quit. I need to put this sheeting on. If it quits raining in the next 5 minutes, I might do it. If not, I might just go find some pizza. Okay, we had a heck of a rain. Rained for about 2 hours straight. Everything got real muddy, but once it quit, we came back out and got this wall finished up top and got that draft stopping put in up there. Got the Hvac bin around here, the sheeting put on. So need to finish this sheeting here, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to quit for the night, but I'm going to measure up my meter base and put some blocking in that wall for it to mount to, and then probably put another block or 2 for the conduit straps, and get all that put in before I put the sheeting on. So that'll be pretty much wrapped up. I can swing by and pick up a door, and once I get that sheeting on, the basement will be as secure as it's ever going to be. My furnace will be here Tuesday, I think. I got 3 installs this coming week. One's pretty good, it's in a closet. The other 2 are both attic, and they're both complete gut and put back, ductwork and everything. So I probably won't get a lot done on the house next week, but maybe I've got enough stuff here now that I can put a video together in my spare time next week and get it out next Friday. This is Sunday night. Sun's just getting ready to go down. Temperature went from about 95 to about 70 during that rainstorm, but now it's warmed back up and feels like I'm steaming out here. Oh, that sawdust sticking to me. But anyway, I'm glad that little project's over with. I'm gonna think about this condenser before I do it, but I'm about 99% sure that's what I want to do. Just sleeve me a 3-inch pipe right through that landing into the joist bay over there, and then I can just stick my line set through when I get around to that point. My other option, what I always thought I would do with the little condensers, kind of set it right here in this corner, but there's a bedroom right on the other side of that wall, so it might not be the best place for it. Might be better right back here. I think if I do anything with the deck, it'll probably just be extend that deck straight on back here a little ways and back over, just to give them a little bit of a sun deck, and then I can bring a ramp up that side onto it, so everything will be nice and smooth to get in and out of the house. So hope you all are staying cool and staying healthy. Our corona cases have skyrocketed. Seems like everybody's got it now, but fortunately none of them seem to be going in the hospital or anything like they was to start with. So I guess we'll all get it eventually.